This is Monday, and we're talking about introduction to computers. Get started on security, group projects, and are there any questions on the project? We are on this would be week number 11, and currently this is day 30. We looked at this site that was in the assignment, Mozilla Development Network, same people that make Firefox. That was discussed in assignment 4. It's a great resource if you want to do some web work in terms of designing. Alright, no tech den this Friday because I'll be gone. Some more slides here in my deck. Some terminology people use all over. Secured shell. This is a way to log in to a computer and have the information encrypted. Information can be encrypted as you communicate between two. You can use terminal services to do this. Okay, there's a Mac, you can just open those up. Linux, Unix, Mac operating system basically uses a type of Linux. We reviewed, we looked at secured copy. You can use a piece of software that will open up. It'll show your local machine here and the remote machine there. And then when you copy something, you can copy it this direction or this direction. A lot of people will develop their website on their local machine. They'll do all the work and they'll make sure how it looks, and some of the operations can be done here. Then when they're ready to publish it, they'll copy it over to the web server. That'd be this process here. You can do all the work on your local machine and then move it over to a web server. You could upload it to the web server. We talked about the terminology upload. Okay? And you can do that with a secure copy. More or less it's encrypted as it moves from one computer to another. And then down here we reviewed some IP addressing. IP address, logical address, MAC address, physical address. And then on a device you have the private address on the device, and then that gets translated to a public address if you're out on the internet. Okay, we introduced some terminology in terms of security. So, we talked about some fundamental items when it comes to data security. Data integrity talks about whether the data is accurate, has the data retained its accuracy. Confidentiality is who can see the data. And then we talked about we have to make data available, so we need to take care of both of those. Now the data is in some particular state. Where is the data? What's being done to the data? The data is stored, right? Can be on a hard drive or in a data center somewhere. Data can be moving, it's in transit, going from one computer to another, or the data within a computer is being processed. Data tends to be at one of those particular places, and no matter where it is, we have to be concerned about the integrity of the data and who can see the data. How do we do that? Products and devices, virus software, logins. There's all kinds of things we can do. Firewalls, lots of things we can do. We can have procedures, rules to follow. We can have a procedure on how to do something, how to keep your data secure. We can have a policy or a guideline that tells us these are the things that are true about our data in terms of what we can do and can't do. And then we need to make sure people, follow the policy. Okay, and then we have to give people procedures in order to be able to maintain the policy. And people have to be aware of what products they have on their devices. Next thing, let's talk about hashes and encryption. A hash is the ability to take some piece of text and convert it into a set size of characters or symbols. So we can take these bits and make these bits. So the hashing process does that. Once you hash something, you can't unhash it. More on that later. Encryption's where we take some block of data and we encrypt it into another block. Okay, so this is all your data, and this is your data encrypted, so nobody can read it. Okay, and then if you need to see the data, you can decrypt it. Okay? We have a path here of items we need to be concerned about. Terms. So first we talk about an asset. In our scenarios, we're talking about data. Okay, whether it's a typically whether it's about people, places, things, whatever the data is about. Is there a threat to the data? Can the data physically be destroyed, or is there a cyber threat? Can somebody see the data, change the data, manipulate the data, steal the data? Okay? And is there a threat agent that can carry out the threat? Then, as a third, how vulnerable are we to a threat? I mean, what's the odds that it's going to happen? In some cases, we're more vulnerable than others. Okay? So then what happens, what we need to do is we develop then a level of risk. All this then creates for us a level of risk. Should we try to manage the risk? Should we move the risk and have somebody else take care of the risk, or should we just ignore it? You know, a lot of people take care of risk by buying insurance. Okay, they can't afford medical costs, so they have insurance. So if there is a risk of something does happen, they have insurance covered. Companies do the same thing in terms of data. They can either store the data in the cloud, pay somebody else to watch the data, or they can manage the security of the data themselves, have somebody else, or just ignore it and hope nothing happens. When something does happen, it's referred to as an exploit. More on security later. That's it for today.